I want to bring in Oliver Sloup of Blue Line Futures and talk about this a little bit. December gaining on July, and I know you've been watching this July contract with some keen interest here lately. I believe you actually have a little graph that we can take a look at too. And it raises some interesting questions. What do you have here, Oliver?
Well, we saw a steep decline in last week's trade. Now we're just consolidating, retracing a lot of those losses, or nearly half of those losses. And the chart that you're looking at is what is often referred to as a head and shoulders. You've got the left shoulder, the head, and potentially forming a right shoulder if this market cannot get back out above that 680 level with some conviction. If we fail at 680, we wouldn't be surprised to see that invite some additional long liquidation into the market. And as you can see, there's pretty good support near that 640 level. This is previous resistance, now becomes support. A break and close below there, I think, would potentially open the door for some accelerated selling pressure. Now, with that said, you look out to the December contract, as you had mentioned, that's gaining a little bit more ground, and we remain pretty optimistic and upbeat looking out that far. We know that the new crop sales have been extraordinarily, and there's a pretty darn good appetite coming from China that should probably continue to keep support under those prices and see that spread maybe continue to narrow.
That also has kind of the appearance, though, of a potential head and shoulders. It has to be a little concerning, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A head and shoulders pattern is typically a bearish formation. And again, that 675 to 680 level is going to be the inflection point for the market. If we can't get out above there, we would expect to see some additional pressure come into the market. And we've been kind of talking with clients both from the speculative side and from the hedging side about how to prepare going into that. Obviously, again, the December contract is going to be a little bit different with weather being an important factor. Right now, it doesn't seem that there's a huge weather premium baked into the cake. But again, those sales for new crop contract have been extraordinary, and I think that's going to continue to support December and potentially help narrow that gap between old crop and new crop.
On the other hand, when you look at soybeans today, the soybean export sales last week were pretty low, only 180,000 tons. And soybeans just cannot get any traction today. They have tried to go higher. They've tried 2 or 3 times, and now we're back lower on July, down 2 cents at 15.36 and a quarter. November's only up 1 tick. And I say that and I scared it away. Now it's unchanged at 13.69 and a quarter. Why is this soybean market having so much trouble getting any upward momentum right now?
Well, 1575 was the old highs from the, I believe, late April. We got out above there. That was the breakdown point from yesterday as well. And I think the bears are going to have a little bit of a technical advantage until we can regain ground above that level, specifically for that July contract. And with options expiration tomorrow, we wouldn't be surprised to see that kind of keep the market in check and maybe even put a little bit more pressure on things. $15 is going to be obviously psychologically significant. There's quite a bit of support down there near 1490. I wouldn't be surprised to see the market gravitate towards that level in the coming sessions. And I think at that point we'd be a little more interested at looking at the buy side, but just kind of waiting to see how the dust settles out here at the end of the week.
I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot to mention that earlier. The June options actually, they expire tomorrow. July Chicago wheat currently down 2 cents. We're at 677 and a quarter. We've been on both sides of unchanged today. In the Kansas City market, now we're down 6 and a quarter at 627 and a half per bushel. The wheat tour results are in pretty big numbers. The July spring wheat now up a quarter, a quarter of a cent at 697 and 3/4. So just very slight gains there. Now we'll come back in a moment and we'll take a look at this livestock trade with help from Oliver Sloup. We'll talk about that when we come back.